Hi, my name is Nathan, and welcome to ER Makers, your new home for science, technology, and engineering on YouTube. Come and join us as we go through and do various experiments and various projects, especially with our kids, where we can make this journey together as we learn about new engineering projects and technology that we can deal with. The kids and adults will all enjoy, that we can all do together, or you can just follow along as we do these projects with our kids. Some of them will be with the kids, some of them will not be. So join us as we embark on this journey together. All right, welcome back. And today we're going to be taking the next step on the sphere project, where we are going to create the individual gems that are going to be set into the individual spheres. We created a silicon mold using several different shapes of beads that we were able to go through and fill with different colors of resin, so that we were able to create the artificial gemstones that we will then set inside of the individual spheres. Initially, the ones that we're doing for this example today, we used blue and to make them look like the sky chips, sky marks, and sky bromes from the book series. And then towards the end of that, we go through and actually attach the individual LEDs to each one of the little gems that will then later set inside of the individual spheres. So follow along and we'll see how this goes. Okay, for today we're going to be going through and casting the gems that we need for making our spheres. We have 2-part epoxy resin for doing the casting. We're going to do sky chips and stones, so we're going to use the blue pigment. We have a syringe. This is a mold that I made using a silicon rubber for casting. I used beads that are in approximately the shape that I wanted to use for the cut gemstones. And we'll go through and cast. Each one of these holes represents one of the gems. We'll go through and fill those up with the resin that we go ahead and use the pigment on. We'll use the syringe for filling them up so we can try and minimize the mess. This is a silicon mixing cup, so that when I'm done, everything can adhere in that, and it can just peel right out and reuse the cup without issue. Alright, let's get to it. These are 1-to-1 resins, which means that we use equal parts of each of these for doing these. The mold does not have a huge amount of space in there. These are not large gems, so we're not going to mix up a whole lot, otherwise we'll waste too much. We don't want to do that. We're going to use this little spoon here to do the measuring. That way we can get everything nice and even measurement. Now, since we did 3 scoops of the part A, we'll want to do 3 scoops of part B. We'll use a clean scoop so that we don't mix until we're ready to. Just going to add a few drops. Give this a mix and see if we like the color, if we want it darker. I think that's a good enough blue. We'll use that. It's a fairly light blue. Yeah. Fall sales, we can always do it another one later. Go through and suck it up in the syringe. Now that our resin's in each of the cavities, we'll let it cure and we'll come back. So just for fun, just to use up the last of the epoxy, found these molds at the dollar store for doing different stuff, and they're designed for epoxy. Figured might as well use up what we have left, since we had a little bit of extra left. Also, ideally, these molds are actually designed for UV cure resins rather than regular resins, but should work the same. It just takes longer. And there we go. And then we'll come back in a few hours when this is all set. Okay, it's the next day, and now we can take a look at what we have from our molds. So this was the excess that we did. Some nice little pieces, but nothing real special. These were just to use up the excess resin, so they're kind of fun to deal with. Still a little bit soft and flexible, so might need either some more curing time, or we'll find out whether or not it was just a bad mix. Now for the actual pieces. So this was one of the pieces that I extracted. It's from deep down inside, so it wasn't particularly easy to get out. But it's a blue copy of this particular little bead. And it gives us a nice little piece that I think would make a good one for one of the sky chips. Now, there's this one. Because that might make a good brome. Should be 2 of each type in here. This one right here has a rather large void on it, on the top of it. Quite possibly is either didn't have enough resin in there. I know I had that issue on one of them that I wasn't sure if I had enough. But it looks like this one just didn't have enough resin in it. We might be able to use that actually, because we can use that spot to put the LEDs. This piece, large air void in there, so that one's probably not going to be usable. There's another one for one of the chips. And it looks like this one also has a large air void. So casting on these sucked this time. But we have enough that we can at least deal with a couple of them and do some of them. I'll probably cast some more. We'll cast a few extras so that we can do some other designs. So we can do some multiple ones. Alright, so we're wrapping up this phase of the construction of our gems. This is the brome and the chip setup with the LED, so you can see how they flash and light up. Eventually, at some point, we're going to get to the new circuit that'll allow us to actually keep these lit all the time. But for right now, this is where we're at. We have working gems that light up. Now the next step is to take these gems and set them into the individual spheres so that we can actually have our own sphere that lights up. It allows us to show that we've captured our stormlight in a sphere. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.